I'm just in the habit of making name tags that have my name and my pronouns on it. So just so that you guys know, my preferred pronouns are she, her majesty. Um, and if you don't use them when you're referring to me, it's actually an act of violence. And that makes you problematic because if you don't use my preferred pronouns, it's like a personal insult. It's worse than an insult. You're basically invalidating my status as human being if you don't say like her majesty, you know. And I'll give you an example of a sentence that uses that. Like, I yearn for her majesty's approval. I have a folder saved on YouTube called transdemic. There's nothing wrong with being trans, but I truly feel, not that I want to bully them or anything, but I just think that this cultural shift is like kind of nutty. You know, like it used to be kind of fringe. It used to be, oh, I was born this way and I wish I didn't have to change, but I do. I have to manipulate my body to cure my dysphoria, and I tried everything else. And then it became like sort of this whoever could suffer the most kind of competition, and then it's like more people become trans and more people become trans, and it's like, wow, this really great thing. I get to cut my tits off and have top surgery and change my pronouns. And it's like this cool cult and everybody understands me and my family found my people. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. This trendy, popular YouTuber, trans, queer, you know, she is really sweet. I'm not, you know, gonna make fun of her necessarily, but definitely this weird culty thing that's going on. Like, yeah, you came up with these beliefs somehow. And it really makes me wonder, like, on a psychological level, a lot of these people are, like, really, like, messed up psychologically. And I mean, I am too, so, like, game recognized game, kind of. But it's a little disturbing, you know, these cool, young, hip, trans YouTubers that are like, here's how you cut your tits off. Here's how you get a gender therapist. Here's how you, you know, and it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, I don't have kids or anything, but like, Jesus, what condition is Gen Z even in? Like, this one, 500,000 views. I mean, it's a little bit fringe. It's not an unboxing video, but I mean, it's significant. Trendy music.
To do a sponsorship because I'm saving up for something secret and rad. It's not that secret. This.
Oh, saving up for something secret and rad. Was it top surgery or was that like after he did that? Okay. Notice the nose ring. I mean, guys, there's like a helpful life hack if you want to just take a guess or take a stab at who is going to identify as non-binary. They usually have a nose ring or like several piercings or like gauge earrings, and like if it's a female, it's like a shaved head or something like that. So I mean, I don't know, these days, like at least 50% of the time, that's gonna be accurate.
This video is being brought to you by the LGBT plus Amino app. As you all know, I've worked with Amino before, and that's because it's a great place to.
Okay. So her sponsorship is like this app for just LGBT and queer people, and they share their pronouns and get cozy or whatever. I don't know why they need a special app for that. I think that's just called the entire internet these days. But
I think I'm gonna do this more. I think this is a cool way to, like, I don't know, I regretted changing my name. Spoiler alert, I don't now. I love Ash, but I want to talk about some of the weirdness and challenges that have accompanied the transition from Ashley, my old name, and it wasn't cringy. Now it's kind of cringy. Is that normal? For a lot of people, I bet it's cringy right away. For me, it wasn't that cringy right away. It was just, like, not what I wanted. But now it's, like, transcended into, like, ugh. I digress. Quick background. When trying to obtain a more androgynous name, it's important to understand that I chose Ash, partially because, if I'm being honest, I was too scared to make a.
So this person changed her name or their name, I don't know what kind of pronouns, from Ashley to Ash. And it confused the shit out of everybody in her life because they were all like, oh, that's just an abbreviation for Ashley. And, you know, I can sympathize because Ashley is a terrible name. Whether you're a man or a woman or whatever, right, you identify as, like, I would be mad at my parents too if they named me Ashley. And my name is Rachel, and it's kind of common, you know, like once in a while I'm working somewhere where there's more than one Rachel, or in school and there's like, oh, there's like a few. So that being really common and everything, yeah, change your name. It doesn't really mean that you're a gender fluid person to want to change your name. I mean, it's all part of your identity. Like, my name is not McRage. Like, that's fucking weird, but, you know, I relate to it better than my, you know, actual last name, so there you go.
Another friend chimed in, but you wouldn't get mad if I still called you Ashley, right? I mean, that's how I've known you for years. Not an awful thing to say, but confusing. I just said I like a thing way more, and it feels more intimate than a traditional, inarguably full name like Ashley. Ashley is more formal, so if we were just meeting, jumping straight to Ash might feel unnatural for some strangers, I think. I don't know, I'm just like trying to get in their heads. This theory comes from the
Can you imagine caring so much what other people think and how they refer to you? Like, all of a sudden, you're taking how you feel and making your happiness depend upon how other people treat you. And that's how I feel about changing your name all of a sudden within the same people, the same friend group, changing your identity. And so much of this is like necessary for you to live like a happy life and feel respected and everything like that. It just confuses me, like, why put yourself through that harm of, you know, making everyone else validate you, otherwise there's a big problem. I don't know, it's just, I'm not trans, but, you know, in case you haven't noticed.
No, not hate. Another challenge with Ash, there are so many challenges, my life is hard, is how easy it is for people to experience a slip of the tongue. My friends and I have 25 years of time I say my new name. What happened a lot in the beginning was that this is something that's...
Well, a slip of the tongue, I mean, you that hurts you? That still hurts you if they, you know, if they're just calling you by your name, you know, and then you change it, and then everyone
still happens a lot. I mean, all right, and the final thing that's tough about Ash is that it still has the Ashley name was Ash. That Ash. I love it. The name...
It's weird though, because a lot of these like trans men or boys or gender queers, it's weird because they identify as like anything but female. Like, they want to just trash their womanhood and cut off their tits and just be anything except a woman, which is, you know, I don't know what had to happen to make somebody want that so badly, but Ash is like, is that even like a man's name? Like, how many normal men have that name? You know, like, that's probably part of the confusion. Like, if she changed her name to like Todd or something, then it'd be like, oh yeah, I have to mentally change that name and, you know, whatever, to respect that person. They're a guy now, her name is Todd. That's one thing, but like, isn't Ash the name of that Pokemon character? Is that where it came from? I don't know. Here's a cringy one.
Hi, I'm Jackson Bird, and today we're talking about how to get a gender therapist and what to expect once you get one.
Oh, it's so adorable. These boys going through puberty. They're like 12 or 14 or whatever, and they're all of a sudden, oh, I'm a man now, you know? It's so cute. I guess that's how, like, actual 14-year-old boys act. They're like, yeah, you're too on testosterone.
So the most important factor in me finally coming out and transitioning was seeing a therapist. But it was also pretty much the hardest part of my transition. I had go see a therapist on my to-do list, and see a therapist, especially when you are at a point where you're kind of low and like really need a therapist, it is stupidly paradoxically so.
Yeah, I mean, if you have enough gender dysphoria or mental health issues that you feel like mutilating a significant part of your body to fit into a stereotype of the gender you weren't born with, then there's probably more shit going on besides I need to get a letter from a gender therapist so that I can mutilate my body, you know? And I really think that this might be a controversial belief, but I think that insurance shouldn't pay for that. No more than should insurance pay to have, I don't know, a body part cut off because, like, I just feel weird with this left hand and I always wanted to have like a bionicle arm, and why can't insurance pay for that? You know, it's like, this is fully functional. Or, you know, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's like getting a very expensive tattoo all over your entire body. Like, why? I don't think you should have to see a therapist to do that, but I don't think that insurance or taxpayer money or whatever should pay for that either, you know? It's like, if you're an adult, you should just be able to do whatever you want to your body, you know?
So much harder. But I also know how incredible of a difference it can make to go see a therapist. So before we get into gender therapy,
I'm seeing a therapist too, by the way. I mean, that's why I have my shit together so well. It's years of therapy. J.K. Rowling needs to stop. Oh my gosh. Total androgyny. I don't know even what to say. I mean, classic shaved head, no style at all, just, you know, looking like a prison bottom bitch.
I might not be Daniel Radcliffe or Harry Potter, but I'm the boy who lived thanks to being able to medically transition as a trans man. So while you're going up on Twitter, think about that, JK. I've taken antidepressants in the past and they've helped me. Many health professionals are concerned that young people are struggling with mental health, are being shunted towards hormones and surgery when this may not be in their best interest. So now she's saying anti-transition. And as it says later, like, many, myself included, believe we are watching a new kind of conversion therapy for young gay people who are being set on a lifelong path of medicalization that may result in the loss of their fertility and or full sexual function.
J.K. Rowling, the turf of all turfs. How can you cancel the author of Harry Potter, the Harry Potter franchise? You know? And that kind of cuts a bit deep, because I'm sure that a lot of these people loved Harry Potter, and, you know, why can't you just like the thing without paying attention to what someone says on Twitter? I don't get it.
Completely negating the fact that it's only like 0.1% of a very small percentage of people anyway that detransition, and most of those people that actually detransition are people that, you know, the majority of them, yes, there is a few.
The reason why it's only a small percentage who detransition is because not enough of them have detransitioned yet, and it's all of a sudden a lot more popular. People get praised for doing that now, so there's just like a question of, is there some other group or some other recognition that they needed to not feel like they need to be part of that cult and have, you know, undying support and, you know, be part of this special class that gets to decide that they're a different gender, you know? And it's like, I don't know, there was like an epidemic in Great Britain. It's like even worse, because now there's like an insane, it went up, the number of, you know, females transitioning from female to male, like, shot up all of a sudden, just like, whoa. And a lot of people argue that that's a good thing, you know, like, they were going to transition anyway, and now they feel like they have support and they can do that. But I just don't believe that. If it's just, you know, if it's trendy enough.
In the bunch that detransitioned because they weren't trans at all in the first place. the medicalization of transitioning because of dysphoria and because of other issues that come along with that, it won't just be a loss of fertility someone will deal with. They could deal with a loss of their life, because the suicide rates are so high, and it seems like the
suicide rates are just as high after transition as before transition. And additionally, if they're going to be on hormones, they're taking hormones that aren't designed for their biology and their bodies. So they're going to have a lot of medical issues throughout their life because they did that. So I don't know. Like, I think that, like, the whole trans thing is they're kind of just the reason why they're able to, like, manipulate culture, and it's so popular now and no one can say shit about it, is because they say, oh, well, I'm just gonna commit suicide if I can't, if I can't do these things to my body. And I think that adults should be able to do whatever they want to their bodies if it's not hurting someone else. But yeah, I don't know. Hormones lower your life expectancy. Well, yeah, artificial hormones do that because it's not natural. It's not what your body naturally can deal with. Bold of you to assume I had a life expectancy with that. All right, well, I guess live a shorter, more fun, slightly less dysphoric life. Pretending to be someone you're not, and taking hormones that will lower your life expectancy. I mean, and it's like, that shouldn't be like this championed, medical thing that we just invented. Wow, it's so great, we're saving lives. I mean, to be in that category where you need to do that in order to feel justified in continuing to live, that's pretty sad. It's pretty,